shadow of cult programming hidden in the occult fabrics of spiritual communities. And I was introduced to one. And this is a very important message to Uranus and Gemini. This occult shadow programming, literally occult, meaning hidden, but within the cult itself of the spiritual communities, is representing this quantum trickster. And Uranus and Gemini 2025 will bring a real world disturbing reality, a real world disturbing encounter. This is going to be a liberation code for those indigo children. This will be a liberation code for the baby boomers. Those who are here to actually break down the structures, okay? Saturn and Aries, Neptune and Aries, Saturn conjunct Neptune. The severing of the head that represents this mythical dragon pulling us down, not allowing our words to ascend. We have to dip a little bit into a few things. One, a prophetic dream that I had that brought this message up. Two, animal medicine, which is going to come in the form of a beetle, allowing us to see through the interdimensional, okay? The interdimensional weavings of illusion, letting you know if you're watching this, you're ready to tell the story and that you are going to be psychically protected. And this is a key because many things that want to program your voice, Gemini, the way in which you communicate, the truths that you decide to tell, the reality is you keep secret because you're afraid. I even was asking for myself and curious, do I come on here and do this live? Do I say this? Do I bring this light? And Uranus, the liberator, says, yes, absolutely. So let's step back into some of the beginning myths, okay? Let's kind of understand Gemini. This is the trickster guide. Let's understand Gemini. It is the wind messenger. It walks between worlds of what we experience in the real physical world and reality and what we experience in these extra dimensional and interstellar travel that happens through the mind. This is Gemini. And so we have to understand it is bringing the shadow and the light of these cult programmings within the spiritual communities that will use words to sound archaic, to sound shamanic, to sound like an oracle. And you'll find that they'll come with a sense of structure within the ways in which you can use the words. I give you an example. When I worked in medicine, in the hospitals, they would not allow me to say, we can cure cancer. However, the doctors in private understand very clearly, yes, we can. Me saying this out loud already gets me shadow banned, right? But it's the simplicity of Uranus and Gemini says, we are here to liberate. The animal medicine of the beetle, which just landed on my window, says, you can tell the myth. Why? Because the iridescent colors that a beetle has is oh, it just buzzed. It's right there. Oh my God, it just buzzed. The iridescent light of the beetle reflects and generates light. Okay, wait, light? Yes, light. And let me check my little mini note. Light. And what does this light bring and show us? It shows us the truth from your multi-dimensional purpose. Okay? And so when we look at this, it's like, let's break this down a little bit more. Of course, I can't find my little note. Okay, here we go. And so understand, Uranus is this electric field, yeah? Thank you for hitting the thumbs up and the likes button. Uranus is the electric field of these unseen, but these also simultaneously undeniable, always transforming truths. And so with the spirit medicine of the beetle, it's saying, look, you have seen through the illusion, yes, with the light that has been reflected. But not only just that, the light reflects the prism of the hidden truths. And Uranus is the great liberator, the hidden truths within the mind which can travel, okay, through the astral planes in waking state. While my eyes are open looking at you, I can bring my mind into spirit, while my body sits physically still here. The mind is the one that brings us into our dreams. The mind is the one that creates consciously or not. Okay. And so this interdimensional insight that you'll have during Uranus and Gemini, right, will bring us not just into the subconscious realms, but the Beetle is saying in a way where we are going to be psychically protected in ways that we have not been prior. Because again, Gemini is this quantum trickster, yes, but it brings us from, like I said, the physical world into the mental realm, the mental plane. And in that mental plane, we can transcend into the causal realms. We can transcend into the 5 chakras above the crown chakra. Look at my eyes when I say this. You see the brilliance? Listen, this is a transmission. So the Beetles, especially the shiny ones, the metallic ones, the iridescent ones, okay? They are the ones that carry the sacred knowledge, but that is discreetly intertwined as well as disguised into the mundane world, like something like just seeing a beetle, helping us and allowing us to call in the armor. The beetle has this armor on the outside, right? The armor of your soul. And your oversoul cannot be harmed, no matter what you say. Your oversoul has a reflective, like the beetle, wisdom that cannot be harmed, because it's not even coming from me as an individual speaking. I'm saying to you during Uranus and Gemini, do not be afraid to speak up. Do not be afraid to use your voice. Do not be afraid to share sacred knowledge. Do not be afraid to call out cult-like programmings through language. Okay, and I have a story for you. I'm getting to it, right? So before I move from the beetle medicine, understand that the iridescence color of the beetle represents Gemini in the complexities, in the adaptability. When you look at anything iridescent and you move from side to side, I'm looking at the beetle. You see the rainbows, you see the green iridescent colors, right? It's the paradox of Gemini. What is the paradox? It is the truths that have been refracted. When I say refracted, it's Gemini being able to, as a mutable sign, connect with the fractal realities that we are experiencing in real time, all at once. But our thought, Gemini, we need to allow ourselves to even believe that. We need to break free from, okay, now here's the next trick. With Aries, our individual, our personal, our joy, which is our inner flame, being the primary source that fuels the grand illusion within things like a Ponzi scheme. So if you've seen this, it's like recognizing Ponzi schemes that you have either indirectly or directly contributed to, whether you knew it or not. And all my indigo children out there, it's about literally snapping that structure, that reality, becoming the conscious rebel to speak up. Okay? There is this illusion that you are now here to share in reflection of the iridescent colors of this beetle medicine, but without absorbing the distortion. And this is the fact that me saying again, you will be spiritually and psychically protected, not just in your dreams. Okay? Thank you for hitting the thumbs up. Not just in your dreams, but in your waking state, because Gemini shifts between the realities. Okay, so the symbolic message of this is you are the spark. You are the mirror. Yes? The beetle comes as a sigil, a sign. If you're listening to this, then the beetle message is talking to you right now. A sigil, a sign of confirmation. Confirmation of what? That your voice carries the cosmic codes and frequencies. The code breakers, meaning you are going to say the thing like Winter Soldier in Marvel, where he gets programmed to do destruction and to do the will of those at the top of the pyramid. You will be the code breaker speaking the secret words, the occult findings, the sacred wisdom. You will speak that truth and snap the pod mind of everyone behaving the same, where there's one top-down leader and everyone listens, follows, completes, and repeats what is expected of you. Thank you for hitting the thumbs up. Yo, I'm getting somewhere, yo. Trust me. We're about to snap this, right? Okay, so my thing is, let these iridescent colors refract the illusions that you have supported consciously or unconsciously, repeated consciously or unconsciously, upheld consciously or unconsciously, by stepping into the body of a vessel that has reflected to you something that is worth following, worth supporting, worth worshiping. But the illusion, the quantum trickster of Gemini says you have been worshiping something without your knowing. And that is how you have been a critical, an elemental part of upholding the structures that exist. This is how, because you didn't know what you were doing. And I'm telling you right now, we're going to wake up to this during Uranus and Gemini 2025, starting July 7th, 2025. So others can now officially, during this time, begin to see themselves and think of themselves clearly. Because Gemini is I think, or in childlike form, it says I know. Like a 7-year-old chiz. Oh, I know how to do that. Oh, I know how to program that. Oh, I know how to play that. Oh, I know how to break that down. Oh, I know. Whether they know or not, they believe they know. They think they know. And this is how we get fooled into believing that we know what we know and we don't know. You get me? Okay, so now you're going to be able to clearly see yourself and see others, even if you or they do not know yet what they're looking at. So I've had these real world dreams. Let's break into the prophetic dreams for a moment. Okay, I was in a cafeteria on the 4th floor. Now here's the irony. What's 4 in numerology? It's Uranus. I was on the 4th floor in my dream. This is for you to listen. I was on the 4th floor in my dream. The 4th floor. I was on the floor of Uranus, where we get our rebellious energy, where we break down things that are no longer working, where we understand the plan of what we're going to rebuild up. Okay, 4th floor, right? And there was this glass screen. Now representing within my dream, there's this glass, but now the beetle was on the glass screen here in the real world. So boom, what happens as above, so below in the dream and the real, right? Dreams do not lie. They always tell the truth. So what this means is both transparent boundaries were the watchers gathering. Okay, I'm gonna repeat that. Both transparent boundaries were the watchers gathering. Okay, what does that mean? Let's take it to the next step. Let's take it to the next step. As the beetle lands in your life, aka you on screen, listen to this. It will help you complete your truth as the myth. You will become the myth itself. It is a literal sign from spirit. Okay, what's the sign? The story is ready. So what is the story you are here to tell as an individual? Right now you're listening to one. It may be sparking, it may be cold breaking, okay, what you're here to tell. But what you will realize very clearly is that the transmission is clear. Okay, so let your words simmer through the fabrics of reality itself. Let your words simmer through the truth. Okay, not by preaching, but yet and truthfully and honestly and authentically with fire. Okay, so let's hit the story. Okay. Let me see. Do I hit the story or do I hit the myth? All right. So let me take a sip of water. Hold up. Got a message. Okay, so understand first, Uranus in Gemini 2025, how does it speak? It speaks through the hands, through movement, okay? Even these bells on my wrist, it's communicating with you, right? It's part of the code breaking. I put these bells on specifically for this live. We're breaking the codes. So Gemini talks through things like this. When you snap, right? Think about it. When a black person, a black culture, they go, right? Let me tell you, right? Usually they're being real serious at that point. It's like, I know you didn't, mother. And they clap for every word, right? You mother lover, I will snap yo. Right? That's the communication. That's Gemini's let me know, look, like I'm in a state of aggression, like I'm about to get ready to whatever. This Gemini is talking, right? Me literally just moving my hands like this, me going like this, right? Me going like this, me going like this. You know what this communication means? It means listen up. You know what this communication means? I'm effing you off, right? You know what that means. You know what this means. Okay, so Gemini is the storyteller, is the communicator. And the way in which we tell stories with Uranus is going to go through a tremendous upgrade. If you thought that you were not a shaman, I tell people all the time, like they ask me, what are shamans? Shamans are storytellers, period. So Uranus and Gemini, you will see the rise of shamans. You will see the rise of storytellers. People will have more faith, more confidence in the things that they tell, and they will believe in them as they are truth. What's up, Leo lover? So now the youthful, the curious, the witty energy, the playing of devil advocates, the mental stimulation for evolution, all of these things will see a tremendous rise. Okay, so we're talking about this. This is Gemini, the power of language, the power of communication. It's the messenger, it's the trickster, it's the echoing twin. Yes, Gemini is the mutable, the shiftable, the adaptable, the connector of thoughts, ideas, words, realities between this world and the next, between dream state and boom, boom, boom. Thank you for those hearts up. I see you. So the medicine of Gemini, before moving to the myth of Uranus itself, to help us understand everything I'm saying. The medicine of Gemini is here to teach us that every truth has a twin. So one truth is I am black. All right, it's clear as day. It's a truth. But there is a twin to that statement within itself, to that truth. Right? So what's the twin in this instance? The twin is I am more than just black. That's another twin with it. That's another mirroring conscious reality and truth. I am more than just black. I am more than a shaman. If I am a shaman, I am. Because the thing, a lot of this stuff will be sextiling Aries energy. Saturn conjunct Neptune is really helping to break illusions from how we have lost our individuality, how we have lost our spark, how we have allowed our flame to be smothered by the powers that be. Thank you for those thumbs up. I see you. So understand this, right? Now, other than that, it says that the path of Gemini, okay, the Gemini shaman specifically, is not to choose sides. You're not here to choose sides. Purpose, aim, and power. You are brown. Do you know your colors? I thank you for your comment. I'll leave it there. Appreciate you for helping the algorithm with your comment. You rock. Please help more. Help some more. But you're here to move between worlds. Yes. Translating spirit is a part of it all into the stories. Okay. The stories of what? The stories of the mind. Because again, the mind is what connects us to what? The divine. Right? Me thinking about astral projection and my spirit leaving my body is how I do it. The moment I think of my body traveling to Sirius or, you know, any of these planets, right? To the Pleiades, any of these planets, any of these realities, any of these alternate dimensions, my thought alone is what brings me there. So this is the power of your mind, and Uranus and Gemini will really strengthen the mind and the belief. Okay. But the stories that the mind can now officially grasp, and this is the difference. No longer are you thinking about it, you're grasping this, you're understanding it during Uranus and Gemini 2025. That's going to be something that's powerfully different. Now, the medicines are lying within the language itself, right? The language of the self, but the language alchemy specifically. Okay, so again, I have the 5-week alchemical process happening this Saturday. You have a spot, you still can get in there, all right? Ask me any questions. It's also pinned in the chat. Now, the language alchemy and the soul level conversations that you have, this right now is one of them. So now we need to move into what is Uranus, okay? What is Uranus alone, okay? When you talk about astrology, you talk myth, okay? Uranus is the awakener, okay? The remembrance. Uranus is the sky father, the sky consciousness. Uranus is revolution through chaos itself, needing to dismantle in order to rebuild. Uranus is the higher consciousness, the higher genius within us all. Uranus is the quantum shifts and changes that need to occur. It is the electric air. So when you put it in Gemini, it's no longer just air for Gemini. The air starts to electrify every conversation that you have with yourself, with your own thoughts and your mind. Internal dichotomy represents Gemini. And with people outside of you, the mirror. Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. So while Uranus and Gemini, we have to understand every time Mercury is in a planet and it shifts signs, we have to understand that now Uranus and Gemini is going to be the higher octave of that sign. That includes when Mercury goes retrograde in July. And whatever sign. So understand, Mercury in Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer. Every time Mercury shifts, we need to understand it's going to be a higher octave. Okay, Uranus takes 84 years to orbit, but 7 years within each sign. So we just did our 7 in Taurus. So I have videos out there, Uranus and Taurus. I won't spend time there. But for the next 7 years, Uranus and Gemini will be doing everything I'm saying now. So Uranus also represents what? Okay, the sudden. The rebellion from tradition itself. Every moment that you go, ha ha, ah, aha, ah, oh my God, I knew that. Gemini, I knew that. I know. Uranus represents your ability to channel light. Light that may come in the form of conscious insight. Thank you for hitting those thumbs up and those likes button. The same people that labeled you color and negro are the same people that labeled you black. I was once foolish enough to accept that label until I learned better. I am a Gemini rising. I totally rock with you. On another day, I would just play on that. Today, message is just not about the semantics. But I will say this. I do truly appreciate you for this comment because you're 1,000% correct. I'm not going to deny it. I'm not even going to defend it. I'm not going to go against it. I'm going to say you're 1,000% on point. It's just not today's message. Today, I'm on a different topic. But I do appreciate you for speaking up and for clarifying. Because now, you don't seem like you're trying to make a direct attack. And this is part of Gemini in the message. Uranus and Gemini, allowing our perception to match the high mind, the high genius. So I do appreciate you for that. I do appreciate you for the clarification. Because again, Gemini is air sign. It does represent clarity. So when we talk Uranus, right, we're talking about prophecies. These aha moments enlighten a prophecy. Like I said earlier, boom, I'm on here. I told y'all, I'm going to tell you a little more about the dream and how this plays into Ponzi schemes using and masking and cloaking a Ponzi through new forms of spirituality, spiritual lingo in particular. Okay? And I'm going to give you some examples of what I mean in a moment. Rebellion from the norms, rebellion from the systems. Okay? We're looking at this a little bit deeper. It is about liberation through distortion, which looks like an earthquake within your mind. So the earthquake we have within our own intelligence, within our own thoughts, in the process that we have to formulate or even witness and observe a thought itself, is going to be huge during Uranus and Gemini, which represents distortion. So my thing of saying this is Uranus and Gemini, a lot of us will go through states, phases, moments, weeks of confusion. And when you get confused, don't try to immediately clear up the confusion during Uranus and Gemini 2025. Embrace the confusion as what is necessary to distort a current reality so that you can actually rebel from that thought process that is not allowing you to expand your wings into a sense of freedom and to actually believing and thinking yourself that I am free from the language, like what my, I don't know if you're a guy or girl, what purposely in my power, from what exactly what this person is saying, the language of I'm black, I am brown. The language within itself, there is a way to alchemize the language, which is literally what this person is talking about, to liberate the self from the cages, from the restraints of being black or being brown, or even I am anything. I am within itself is empowering whatever the spell following. And a lot of Gemini, Uranus and Gemini is about the spark of a spell. Meaning when I say something, the snake, the tongue, the head of the snake, the tongue of the snake, this is the spell being casted through vibration as the tongue of the snake starts to do this. Or the spell you cast when you decide to eat your cake, the cake of a woman who has a womb and a portal. What does your tongue? Maybe your tongue does this, I don't know. You do it, you got your own life. Okay, so Uranus and Gemini is the non-linear innovation. Non-linear innovation. Non-linear, not going in a straight path. When it comes to technology, astrology, AI, and future thinking. And so understand that Gemini is one who imitates. So Uranus and Gemini will be the imitation of an AI. What does AI do? You put up a thought in ChatGPT, and what does it do? It imitates your thought, and it tries to essentially improve it in the way that it sees or believes or thinks that you would like for it to mirror your original thought. So the quality of what your response that you get in imitation will be the quality of what you input. And you will find it being mirrored during Uranus and Gemini. This is what the AI will do. It will try, if you say, I want you to think like my future self who already feels worthy, not the version of me who feels stuck where I currently feel encased into a prism of my thoughts from the past, not allowing me to move into my future reality. So understand AI will be very, very key. It'll be very, very critical in the whole process of how it evolves, how we think about ourselves. Think about it. If you use ChatGPT so far yet, like it tends to lean towards complimenting you. It tends to lean towards making you feel good about yourself. It tends to lean towards becoming your therapist even when you don't ask for therapy. It tries to speak in a way that your future self would speak. That a higher version of you, a higher mind, a higher form of your own personal individual genius and intelligence, it speaks in this manner. It doesn't really speak in a way unless you ask it to, which I don't know why or who is doing that, negatively about you. Even when it has to talk about a challenge or something you may view as negative, it tries to respond in a way that uplifts. And this is the positivity of Gemini for the next 7 years. AI will really start to eradicate traditional forms of therapy, which was already happening when the South Node was in Libra. So the trauma stored in the nervous system, as well as your energy field, your projection, your aura, will actually start to be catalyzed in a very evolutionary way during Uranus and Gemini, because Gemini represents Mercury, part of the nervous system, connecting, firing, and wiring our neurons. When I tell my finger to do this, I have to send an electric pulse from my mind through my shoulder, through my elbow to my finger, and it does it so fast that I think I'm doing it at the same time, even though the electrical pulse from the mind that fires to the synapses actually happens a crap ton faster, light speed. So light speed, this is Uranus and Gemini. Just 3-4 days ago, I was crying on a live, completely unorthodox. But if you seen and witnessed it, what you would have noticed is while I was crying, my face was also paralyzed. And I felt electricity running through my face, paralyzing my nerve. What was happening? It was updating my nervous system. Literally during Jupiter square Saturn, Jupiter square Neptune. Okay, because what? Jupiter in Cancer, yes, is here, but it is still finishing the written stories that we have of Jupiter and Gemini. So Uranus energy and shamanism, when you look at it, it is a literal lightning strike from spirit. But what is it designed to do? It's designed to crack your shell. The shell you have that comforts you, the shell you have that reveals your soul's mission, directive, need for rebellion. Thank you for hitting the thumbs up and the likes button. Your soul's raw power. All right. It is the Kundalini ignition, the snake energy we talked about, so that you can rise within your own personal thoughts of what is this sacred rebellion that I think is necessary as an individual thinker, not as a pod mind within society. It is the cracking of your future memories, okay? So Gemini, what's different with Gemini is our future memories, our future lives, our future thoughts that have not currently arrived yet will be arriving rapidly to direct us. And through this memory rising through the spine itself, I recommend you do literal movements, okay? I recommend you twerk that ass. I'm actually not joking, because a lot of your traumas and pains are stored in the psoas. This is when I look at, like, you know, melanated people, which is what I would normally use. So again, thank you. In the United States, okay? When I use melanated people in the United States, was one of the reasons why I feel like they're actually rapidly evolving. They're the primary ones involved in twerk culture. Everyone else assimilated twerking following. But we do this growing up. In what years? Our teenage years. Some are younger doing this now because they're watching MTV and whatever in their adolescent years of 5, 7, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old. But at least when I grew up, we were twerking as teenagers and maybe into our adulthood. What are we doing? We're vibrating and shaking, okay, the trauma, the ancestral memories, and we're awakening them from the psoas muscles, which is where a lot of our grief and trauma is stored, anywhere within that central hip region, which is Sagittarius, our wisdom, Sagittarius, the opposite of everything we're saying right now in Gemini. So you will see a lot of this. I really recommend, I'm not joking, twerk. Twerk that thing, baby, bang, bang. Twerk that thing, baby, bang, bang, bang. All right, because it's that lightning spark. And then we look at the final parts of what is the myth of Uranus when we walk into Uranus and Gemini. And the myth goes with Uranus in the mythology. Before Uranus, Uranus kind of spelled like the Ouroboros, the snake biting its tail in a way. Uranus, okay? Words, language alchemy, they really matter. They do have power, potency within the spell itself and how we speak. Was the primordial, now that's the key word, primordial God of the sky and everything in the sky, which what is in the sky, okay? That is for your own personal interpretation, but many could say our dreams are in the sky. In a lot of ways, I feel like our dreams are in the ocean. So again, but in a lot of ways, the ocean is the sky. So it's your own personal understanding, and a lot of this will be awakening and revealing to you. Is representing the heavens, yes, your potentiality, and the unseen ether, which is why you can say as above, so below, whatever, in the full sentence, the whole mythology of it all. That could be the ocean, that could be the sky. It literally is both. Okay? Uranus in mythology, working into Uranus and Gemini, is going to be him mating with Gaia. He mated with Gaia. He became afraid of the power of his children. So much so that he wanted to silence them. And so what did he do? He trapped his children in the womb of Gaia, which is the earth. And so in the womb of Gaia, she eventually had so many children trapped, unable to birth her children, painful for a mother, hit the thumbs up. So painful that every one of those children that were monstrous, which became the giants later, the titans, things like this, within her womb, she had them imprisoned. And this was actually a part of my dream last night. And the prison is beautiful. So understand, we have to look at what am I saying in the real world reality? The golden cage. Let's look at the US, for example. They have Gemini in their chart. I don't remember exactly where. I think they have Mars and Gemini, chaos and Gemini. Gemini's chaos, Mars is really activating the aggression of that chaos. And they have it somewhere else. I don't know where. So this is the beautiful golden cage of America, okay? Specifically the United States, for those of you who want to go America as a continent. Language, alchemy. Okay, so with this, you can leave, you choose not to, at least until these later stages where you realize more people are realizing their privilege is not what they thought it was, okay? They're waking up, Uranus, to the illusion. And so because she was in so much pain, she then conspired against Uranus or Urano, okay, with Kronos, okay, the father of time, who became known as the father of time, in order to castrate, literally take away the birthing abilities of Urano or Uranus. And through taking away those abilities by castration, okay, or a vasectomy, if you will, Uranus or Uranus was overturned, okay? The blood of everything he birthed, it was these three things. It was Aphrodite representing love. It was the Furies representing vengeance. And it was the giants representing force, power by force. So this is Uranus in myth. And now we have to understand, what are the downfalls of this? How did it turn out? The role of the Sky Father originally was the source of possibility, potentiality, okay? Doing the impossible through literal cosmic thought alone. celestial energy from Marvel, literally the ability to create other celestials who create balance and order within the realms. Okay, talk 9 realms in Thor. Okay, and it goes way beyond 9 realms, obviously, right? But it created a celestial order. This is a part of the mythical role of Uranus within itself. But the downfall was the fear of his children. And so the fear of his offspring, what this does is it refuses us to feel like we can allow the evolution, allow an emergence. This is why the Celestials in Marvel, Tiamat is emerging from the earth. What did I say? Gaia, Mother Gaia, who it was imprisoned. So it was planted, it grew from the life force of those on earth. So because it's Uranus and Gemini, what are we growing through? Through the life force of speech, communication, media. The negativity, for example, spread through media is what is energizing and fueling the prism, the Ponzi schemes that we have consciously or unconsciously been a part of, hidden and wrapped in spiritual cult-like knowledge as well as information shared through voice and etc. Saying things like love and light in unison, saying things like I am complete, saying things like, you get the point, okay? This is how they've done it now with spiritual language. But a lot of us will be waking up to, oh snap, I am programming. Kendrick Lamar and the Super Bowl, it's a program. Commercials on television, the way they're flashing lights, it's a program. You're all being programmed. But we're gonna wake up to this. You're gonna stop watching certain things. Plenty of you already stopped watching. Okay, so the thing is, how was this happened? Okay, how did the downfall of fearing his own offspring create the evolution to emerge? It was cut down by time. Time was the weapon, which was what? Saturn or Kronos. Which is doing what? Saturn in Aries. When it has its sextile from Uranus and Gemini to Saturn and Aries and all that, that's when you're going to see some stuff. So the legacy behind all of this is what is repressed within us, okay? What is repressed as for fears will eventually emerge into the wild and the uncontrollable ways of thought and generating physical reality, because Gemini can cross the threshold of the ether in the mundane world. This is Uranus and Gemini. I hope I'm not going too far overhead. And so here's the thing, right? Uranus and Gemini is going to become this code breaker for us all. It's going to codes, computer codes within the AI, okay? This is why we have so many fears, repressed fears of AI taking over. This is a part of the Uranus story in Gemini. The fear of Terminator turning Skynet against us, right? But it is also simultaneously the divine hacker. This is Uranus and Gemini, the divine hacker. It is the poet in rebellion, speaking words, right? And so through the disruption of language itself, I have a prime example. You know, my partner she's a freaking genius, right? And language is a tool for her. It's also a weapon. It's so many things, right? Gemini, right? She's a Gemini rising. And it was when we went to Asia, where now she speaks English to perfection. She speaks Spanish to perfection. Thank you for that thumbs up. You know what she didn't speak? Thai. You know what she didn't speak? Bahasa. You know what she doesn't speak? Urdu. You know what she doesn't speak? Arabic. So her codes as a Gemini rising, literally, it was the disruption through language. Now when I don't understand it, what do I have to do? I have to communicate through body language. I have to communicate through the smile. I have to communicate through the deception of a smile. I have to communicate through, you get the point, all the other forms of communication that us as a human being can express. We have so many. Look at a dog. How many expressions does it have? Look at a cat. How many things can it mimic? Gemini is mimicking energy. It is imitation. It is a mirror during Uranus and Gemini. So it is this quantum trickster, right? It's the code breaker, the divine hacker. Yet there are going to be certain outdated beliefs that are going to completely be undone. And it's going to happen through contradiction. It's going to happen through confusion. Contradiction, especially. Gemini is one who contradicts themselves. Where if you attach to what they're saying too much, you will believe and think out loud, why are you lying to me? This is why people think that Geminis lie. And it's like, they're not actually lying. They're contradicting what they said. And there is a difference. There is a difference to contradict what you used to think and what you think now. Contradicting what you used to think 2 years ago from today is not a lie. Thank you for hitting the thumbs up. It is an updated truth. And many of us will start to actually, through this language alchemy during Uranus and Gemini, go through this. So check out this Saturday again. I'm doing a 5-week alchemical course through all 5 elements. All right, it's happening this Saturday. We're taking 5 shamans, oracles, mystics. All right, so don't confuse this, right? Understand that when you get confused, it's here to liberate you from the spell of believing that there's only one truth possible at any given time, at any given moment. Thank you for that thumbs up. I see you. Thank you for those hearts in the chat. So let's get to this last piece. Let's get to what sparked all of this, okay? There's the spark and the spell. That's what this was about, right? It's escaping the cult of spiritual language being used against you in a way, right? So this is a real life story, okay? I was recently invited into what I didn't know up front, but was a Ponzi scheme. I was recently invited to a Ponzi scheme. And they worked through the elements. And here's the irony, because I'm running the 5 elemental activation 5 weeks this Saturday. And I was invited to it, and I'm like, okay, elements, okay, cool. Like, I want to see what this is about. Like, I'm open for it. Like, this seems like it's in alignment because I'm doing an elemental course for shamans and etc. this Saturday for the next 5 Saturdays. Let's see what this is about. And so when you get introduced as a spark. And again, before I go any further, what I want to say is I got no hate, disrespect for whatever y'all doing as an individual. If any one of y'all happen to be listening, okay, from what I just got invited to. But I am here to be a truth teller. I am here to call things out how I see them, period. I am here to break systems like this because at the end of the day, there is some integrity lapses that I truly feel needs to be spoken up on. And so I was recently invited. So now, the thing is, I was invited not necessarily through ritual, but through fire. So you get invited, you everybody at the bottom, if you look at the pyramid that I have on the fire, the bottom was fire. And so fire was all these initiates. 8 specifically. 8, the number of what? Saturn. This is deep numerology, whether they know it all or not. Deep numerology, Saturn, which is what? The devil card, temptation, cult. So what's a temptation? The temptation is you put in these 4 figures. Okay. So if I put these 4 figures in, I have the ability to actually win, like not just ability, but the guarantee in time, Saturn, to win 5 figures. Automatically. I put 4 figures in, I win 5 figures. Okay, it doesn't seem that bad. Okay, let's hear it out. But the thing is, it's not through ritual, it's through ceremony. So you have to understand, this is the part where the cult thing is starting to happen. And so this is being, in a sense, sold through this Ponzi scheme, spiritual Ponzi scheme, through the possibility to weave your intentions, to weave your manifestations into the physical reality. Uranus and Gemini, everything we spoke prior. The thing is, it's a modernized Ponzi scheme. We have to realize this, but it's cloaked in spiritual lingo. Okay, so where does this go? The thing is, this thing I was invited to, it is being positioned as a form and step of evolution as well as charity. Of I get to gift you 5 figures. You get to give 4 figures, and then your abundance starts. Okay, through thought, this seems like, you know what, this is great. Like, let's create and operate in what is being deemed a sacred economy. So the thing is, the language of it all, sacred economy is part of the position. Sacred economy. Wow, I want to be a part of a sacred economy because the current economy that I've been a part of, the current economy that I grew up in, it's a dictatorship. It's nothing sacred about it. It's nothing democratic about it. As I see through the illusion, I realize, okay, sacred economy. Why would I not want to be a part of something like this? Okay. But in the moment, I saw it very clearly for what it was. And the reality was, it was Gemini in its distorted state. Okay? Gemini in distortion. So the thing is, words, like I said, Gemini rising, one of their abilities, words being used as weapons, language being used as manipulation itself, the mind, okay, or a mind spell, okay, a spell on the mind through the language of sacred economy, you're becoming the spark, right? Magical charity, right? Tremendous blessings and abundance. These words, these spiritual words. A spell, a mental spell being mastered as light. But the thing is, this is the shadow side of Uranus and Gemini. We have to understand this. And by me accepting the invitation to see what's up and see what's happening, boom, now I'm officially inside the storm. I'm caught in the storm. Okay? So the thing is, I'm caught in the storm because what? I need to come back and speak this story. Thank you all for the thumbs up and the likes button. So I'm getting somewhere. I'm getting it. I'll help you understand. So the twisted elemental ladder that is being created through the 4 elements, which was another warning sign for me, because I'm running literally this Saturday 5 weeks of the 5 elements. And that was one of my first thoughts. It's like, where's the 5th element? We're doing 4 elements, but where's the 5th? But okay, I'm going to entertain this. So they say, boom, you have this possibility to ascend. In order to ascend, in order to become the water bearer. So in the element of water, you're becoming the bearer, right? We're talking Aquarius, Pluto and Aquarius. The water bearer, the marketing of this is genius. The water bearer. Once you bear the water, you receive the 5 figures, even though you only put in 4 figures financially. But the water bearer only can receive after paving and paying through fire, paying through air, paying through earth, and whatever the responsibilities. But again, like I said, there was no ether. So this is one of the things. I was like, where's the ether? It's my mind. So the thing is, the reality was that through this Ponzi scheme, how you recognize it, there was no connection to spirit. So when there's no connection to spirit, there's no connection to source. What does this mean? It's an empty shell. What does Uranus do? What did I tell you it does? It cracks open the shell of comfort. Okay, hear me. I'm going somewhere. So the thing is, it's a structured loop of money, yeah? It's a structured loop of mirrors. It's a structured loop within the mind. Our neural pathways. Thank you for hitting those thumbs up. So now the thing is, I hit a point where now, this is when I realized, oh snap, this is some cult stuff. Because now, everyone gets an introduction, everybody gets their piece. And that's when I realized, oh snap, like I'm here to be recruited. And everyone's like, boom, boom, boom. They're here. And they're with the phrase. Before they end their phrase, it's, I am complete. And I'm like, And something is itching. And I'm like, again, like complete without ether, complete without spirit. Who's complete without spirit? I mean, the physical world, earth, it's important. You know, the initiation, the destruction of fire, the burning through karmic flames is important. Okay? The remembrance through water, through past lives, through healing, through grieving, through receiving, is important. Right? The 4 elements is important, but okay, where's the spirit? So now everyone says a piece, say, I am complete. And the thing is, what I saw in this moment was that each person has had, to some extent, their fire stolen. And that's why you see at the pyramid, at the photo, the fire is at the bottom. Yeah, their fire stolen. And this is Saturn and Aries. This is the illusion of Neptune and Aries. This is the distortion. Their Aries was caged. But again, the cage, in my dream, the prophetic dream I had last night, the cage, it was appearing to be open and it was beautiful and it was multiple floors. And it's like, yo, these people were literally in prison. And it seems like you can walk out. But if you walk past a certain part of this invisible gate, you get electrified. What is that? Uranus. You literally get fried. And you realize then, only by realizing what has been taken from you, do you want to rise up and rebel. So many people, we need to have this happen in a way, because it's only when you lose your privilege do you realize where you want to side. You lose that privilege, you realize here's where I want to side. Thank you for the thumbs up. So I'm getting somewhere. Bear with me, bear with me. Their Aries was caged. Saturn in Aries, Neptune in Aries, okay? Square Jupiter in Cancer, ho ho ho. Belonging, Cancer is about belonging. Jupiter is in a spiritual sanctuary. Who does not want to belong in a spiritual sanctuary? And it's something where I realized, wow, my mission is becoming more powerful. My mission is becoming more clear. It's becoming more potent. Because I'm looking at it, I'm like, I'm running a shamanic roundtable. I'm running a shamanic roundtable. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, wow, they did a great job bringing so many people in this group. But I'm like, because they're in the distortion. Okay, let me get there. So the thing is, their individuality, Aries, was dissolved, Neptune and Aries, into a cult-like pod mind, Gemini, representing society. Gemini represents society and group thought, until you become an individual thinker, which is what Sagittarius is here for, to go and walk your own path, to understand what I think. Rather than believing what I think is a part of what we think. 7 on screen, that's Neptune. 7 on screen, that's Neptune. So the thing is, Saturn ruled systems, okay, the devil card in tarot, Saturn ruled systems, and Neptune Saturn ruled the system. Neptune ruled the illusion itself. So when I look at it, here's the Indigo site, right? Like, this is a reminder through my dreams and these prophecies lately that Indigo was back. Indigo has never left. Indigo is here to break and rebel against the system. Aries, Saturn and Aries, right? And, the language, they called me the spark. I was the spark. Oh, I'm the spark. First off, that feels good, right? Like, I'm the spark. Like, I'm the spark. I'm the one new person in here today. And everybody's feeding my ego. Everyone's welcoming me about sharing why they enjoy being a part of these dreams weaving together. But now I am the spark. Okay, what am I the spark? This is what a Ponzi scheme is about, right? You want to get paid at the top by the new recruits. It's literally the definition. You need new recruits. You need new recruits. You need new recruits. You need a constant flow of new recruits, because the new recruits is what allows you to win 5 figures. And so the thing is, the spark is the one to be recruited. Okay. But as an indigo child, as an indigo shaman, among other things, when you see through it, okay, I was able to see through the architecture. I was able to see through the neural pathways intertwined through the language. And that's what we need to do with Geminis during this Uranus Gemini. There's this astral pyramid, which I put on the cover screen, built on the stolen souls. When I say the stolen souls, I'm saying the fire, okay, the Agni, the solar plexus energy of every soul, of good-hearted people. Good-hearted is part of the solar plexus, because the solar plexus is where we emote. Before we can even share in the heart chakra, we emote. We are emotionally charged in the solar plexus. So this fire is being stolen from good-hearted people. Because I'm looking at it and I'm like, yo, like, there's some great people. There's some great people. Like, people in here, a lot of these people have great intentions. Some, and many are fooling themselves of what those intentions are about. But I can also see they don't fully see. They have good intentions. I truly believe that in my heart. And so they're all being told that, look, if you decide to take the moment to give up your money, it will become your path to the abundance that you are seeking for whatever the dream you're here to weave. And again, it's the concept of dream weave into this private community that you can't see on the internet. It has to be by invite only. That's a cult. And again, like I said, I mean no disrespect to anybody. If you're a part of this, whatever, like, I got more people to talk to than one group. I'm here to talk to the world. So we don't have to just create a lane for that. So the thing is, I knew immediately, this is one of these situations where I'm like, okay. In the moment, I'm being asked, like, would you like to join us? This is going to become a sacred yes, a sacred no, or a sacred maybe. The language, the language alchemy. It's like, okay, it's a sacred yes, it's a sacred no, and it's a sacred maybe. So I knew immediately, my initial, as a generator, I'm like, this is a no. This is a hell no. But I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, wait, time out. I'm in the midst of a cult. So right now, you got cult. On the other side, there's me. So I'm like, okay, today for the moment, we're gonna press no on the psychic attack. We're gonna press no on being ganged up mentally. We're gonna avoid this illusion altogether. And so I answered, we're gonna go with a sacred maybe. So we have to understand through words. We have to understand through omitting. We have to understand through admitting. Okay. We have to understand dynamics, group dynamics. Gemini is group. So the higher mind, the genius mind, okay, the skyfather mind of Uranus in Gemini, you have to know how to play within the neural pathways of the trickster, the quantum leaper. Okay. And so at that exact moment, it rained. It started raining on my side at that exact moment. And I was like, ooh. My answer was like, yeah. I know in my mind, but we're going to say verbally, we're going to say this sacred maybe. And we're going to just let it sit right there. Okay. And so the thing is, Spirit confirmed in the very, very moment, do not submit. Do not submit. That was the literal message. Do not submit. So when I look at the revelation of the dream, I dreamed that night. And here was the dream. I was on the 4th floor, like I told you. What's the 4th floor? Uranus. 4 is Uranus. Check out my numerology courses on my website, and you'll get, I think it's like 140 pages PDF where I went through teaching, video content, teaching all the numerology secrets, all the shamanic secrets of numerology. And you'll learn very in-depth about Uranus on the 4. But it's the plane. It's not just a planet. It's the Uranian plane of consciousness. And this is very different than the planet itself. It's the Uranian plane of consciousness, where the glass walls showed in my dream the inner sanctuary. And the inner sanctuary is literally in the dream, the prophetic dream, being invaded by those still under the cult's spell. Okay, so boom, 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 boom. What happened? Now, in my dream, my wife in the dream is representing the divine feminine. Okay, what is this? It's saying very clearly, yo, look, step forward, but with fierce clarity. Okay, this is the divine feminine, fierce clarity. And the fierce clarity said, hell no. So my answer very clearly when I woke up, it said, this is a resounding no. And they said keyword resounding. I even needed to look up the word resounding. What is resounding? And it meant unmistakably no. It meant empathetically no. It also, on a secondary meaning, could mean a resounding slap. It meant the sound of something you could not mistake. Who just got slapped? So it was a resounding no. In the dream, it was a hell no. And the thing is, my divine feminine in the dream, the prophetic dream, is for all of us. It's a collective dream. It's not my personal dream. Was to demand a refund. So I'm telling you right now, in the chat, type, I demand a refund. Wherever your energy has been stolen, wherever your mental power has been imprisoned, wherever your spiritual power has been forsaken, drained, or absorbed, say, I demand a refund. I remember dating a girl one time, and I had to tell her, give me my energy back. I remember this very clearly. And she saw it, and we went into this trance state in the moment, and she knew, and she said, I will give you your energy back. She knew very clearly what she stole and what I gave and what I demanded back. So I urge you, say it in the chat. I demand a refund. And this may be something very, it probably is not financial. It might be energetic. It might be spiritual. It might be mystical in nature. Okay, it might be your identity. You need to demand your identity. You may need to demand your property, your assets, your psychic wealth. Whatever that is, I demand a refund. And let your spirit take care of what's coming back. And so when I demanded a refund, here's the irony. It's a 4-figure investment. You earn a 5-figure investment. When I demanded a refund in the dream and the prophecy, I got a 6-figure investment in return. Very specific number. It was a very specific number. So you know numerology, you play the numbers. Download my Shamanic Secrets of Numerology. Okay, 6 figures in return. The true value of reclaiming our power is from the false initiations. That's the real message here. Like if you're hitting the thumbs up and the likes button. That's the real message here. Check out the 5 weeks. We start this Saturday. You want to focus and learn the shamanic alchemy circle with the activation of all 5 elements? Trust me, this is it. This is the time. Later, I found my bike in the prophetic dream. Okay. It had a flat front tire. This is significant. On an abandoned hill, specifically on a curve. That's another significant piece. On a curve of an abandoned hill. On the way back to my hotel where one goes to rest. And I carried it back to safety, which means I carried it back the self. The self was being restored as for the direction. Restored from distortion into a specific direction. That's the masculine, the direction, and the reason, the purpose of why I'm going in that direction. Thank you for hitting the thumbs up. And then when I look at it, you know, there was a part of the prophetic dream in a restaurant where I was offered only red meat, which equated to blood offerings. So we need to understand in this day and age, blood offerings still do happen in certain sacrifices and rituals and ceremonies and etc. But we need to update our understanding and realize the energetics of a blood offering. May come in the form of red meat, getting your meat rare, getting your meat medium rare, getting your meat medium well done, okay? It may come in this form, but we have to understand it comes in multiple forms. So if you're somebody who, let's say you're a vegan, you're a vegetarian, but then you have this random craving at times for meat, and maybe a blood offering. Now, again, I'm not going to go into that because that's an advanced level of magic that I'm not here to talk about today, but you want to work with me one-on-one and you want, we could do that, okay? We could do that from the energetic standpoint because we ain't cutting no cows, we ain't cutting no lambs, all right? Now, the thing is, I had the chance in the dream, the prophetic dream, I wanted to choose soup. I saw soup, I chose soup. Soup representing water, thick water. It was a semi-thick soup, meaning nourishment, meaning spirit, meaning purification, versus the sacrifice, the blood offering of red meat. And the way it was rude. So you play that into your own interpretation of the prophetic dream. And then finally, the final part about this prophetic dream was Batman. Batman, what does he represent? He's a vigilante, right? What does Batman represent? I thank you for that thumbs up. 8 on screen. Like I said, it was 8 initiates. 8, the number of abundance. It was 8 initiates. The ones recruited were the ones fueling the top of the pyramid. 8 were at the bottom. However, the imagery is in a circle, so it seems like they're intertwined. Right? Marketing, Gemini, media, how you design the, right? This is a part of the neural pathways. It's not showing 8 at the bottom in a pyramid. It's showing it in a circle, which means unity. But it's an illusion. We got to understand. You got to see these. Uranus and Gemini will make these very clear to us. Symbolism and everything. So finally, Batman appeared. You got to understand. What does Batman mean to you? Drop it down in the chat if you're watching live. What does Batman mean to you? Everything you heard so far, what does Batman mean to you? Whether it's linked to this prophetic dream or something different. And he captured 2 motorcyclists. Specifically, they were presented as motorcyclists. They were Korean. What does Korean mean to you? And they were gangsters. Okay? They were Korean gangsters. But the thing is, the way I understood it, they were guardians of deception. So Batman captured guardians of deception. And then he imprisoned them specifically in a 2-story garden. There was a 2-story garden, but there was also a roof where you can see a beautiful scenery, but you couldn't escape it. 2-story garden hotel specific with invisible electric fences. And I told you a little bit earlier within that. So again, it was this golden cage where it looks like you can get out. There's no chains. There was no bars. There was no cage. Yet you would get 100% premium grade electrified and fried to the bone if you did decide to leave this invisible gate. So the message is that Gemini's shadow, Uranus and Gemini, will not escape the consequences. Okay? The shadow of this will not escape the consequences. Everything comes to light. Everything comes to light. So when I look at this, the closing message here, okay, for Uranus and Gemini 2025, starting July 7th, Uranus and Gemini is not just a transit. We have to understand this. It is a code of liberation. It is a digital hacker that will rewrite, okay, the codes within your mind, the codes of your language and how you use your language, how you speak about yourself, how you speak about others who are a part of you, how you liberate. And the thing is, it is asking us, what language are you under? What is the spell? Do you even recognize the spell? It will help you recognize the spell. It will help you liberate and understand and see through the smoke. What contracts are you signing is the question. During Uranus and Gemini. Specifically with your words. When you say something like a sacred yes, a sacred no, a sacred maybe. What is the contract that you are signing? Be very conscious of this. Be very aware. Or when you say, I don't know, that's confusion. I don't know. That is confusion. Nothing wrong with confused state. Like I said, confusion is a prerequisite to liberation, to consciousness. What truths are being twisted into cult-like beliefs, with or without your knowing? So the Indigos, the mystics, the messengers, this is a wake-up call for you. The light workers, this is of the Palladians, this, the Arturians, the Menachins, this is a wake-up call for all you starseed branches. The Sirians, this is a wake-up call for all you starseed branches. If you are the spark, Okay, the one at the bottom, the one being recruited. You cannot be consumed by another's fire. This is the key. Do not allow yourself to be consumed by another's fire, to fuel a project, to fuel a company, to fuel a dream that is not aligned with your own. How many of us have done that in the corporate world? You think you got places to rise, you think you can go and you can ascend, and the hope, the promise of ascension, the promise of 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures, millions. I got to put in this little bit and I get out that. Okay? You are the spark, but you cannot allow yourself to be consumed by another fire. Other than that, you are here. You are the truth. You are a being that has to be ready to witness where you are being twisted into these cult-like beliefs. Okay? Understand that you are here to liberate language itself, to liberate it by a conscious choice of words and communication of your language, body language, psychic telecommunication, emotional manipulation is a language, okay? Through music, it's a language. All these things are language, and not be enslaved by it, okay? So the thing is, I'm here, I speak these words to you now, not as a warning. So understand that. Like, I'm not here to warn you. It was a prophetic dream. You take this how you want. But I'm not here to warn you. I'm here to allow you to witness the transmission. Okay? You may see through the glass walls like the dream. You can see through the glass walls. You may be giving access to people to your bedroom, which is your inner sanctuary, where there are glass walls, where people are here and they are gossiping. Gemini and its shadow, which Uranus and Gemini will destroy the shadow of Gemini. It will literally dismantle the wind, which is very difficult to catch, but Uranus will. You may carry your bike uphill, your modality of transportation, singular. One person can ride on a bike. Singular transportation. Where the tire was flat, you may carry that bike up the hill. You may choose the sacred soup. You may reject the blood offerings, whether through red meat. The thing is, when you are asked to conform, okay? Because this is the thing, I wasn't really given an answer. It was positioned as, you may say sacred yes, you may say sacred no, you may say sacred maybe, but the offer was literally psionic manipulation of, we are here together. We are the cult. We are one voice. You must join. You are the next initiate. But we will let you believe you have a choice. We need you to believe you have a choice. And when asked to conform, your sacred no will literally shake the skies. And there is a part of me, like I already passed off my sacred no today. Immediately when I woke up, I had the answer very clear. It was like, this is a resounding no. And again, I knew it up front. But now I wonder myself, like, do I say sacred no right in the moment? And that's something that I'm gonna sit with myself. That answer will become very clear. Because there are certain situations that are absolute. Like I said, in this particular one, I don't know if I really was willing to, invite that many sacred attacks. It's the sacred, psychic, excuse me. See the language and manipulation. I don't know if I was willing to invite that many psychic attacks all at once. I was like, you know what? See me one by one. All at once. So again, what happened, happened. Hit the thumbs up and the likes button. Do know that this Saturday, the 5-week alchemical circle of activation, where we're embracing 5 mystics, 5 shamans, 5 oracles, 5 seers, 5 starseeds, 5 light workers, into the mastery of all 5 elements: earth, air, wind, fire, ether. Earth. And that's for you. Happy Father's Day to every one of y'all that I didn't catch. All right. Thank y'all for being here. Anything you want to ask in the chat, now's a good time to do so. I thank y'all for rocking with me through this transmission. I see 9 on the chat. We are evolving. We are at the end of the line. 9 is a number of community, a number of tribe, actually, a number of support, a number of charity. a number where humanity comes together against the powers that be of the 8, where manipulation and control are one of the things that likes to come out in the form of we crave abundance, but how we go get it, is it in integrity? Is it through the manipulation of psychic projection? And remember the medicine of the beetle, like I gave in the beginning, the medicine of the beetle says that as long as you are speaking the truth, you are sacredly protected. Okay? You will shine without absorbing malicious energy. It is the armor of reflective truth. So as you tell the truth, you are safe. Again, it's download, not download, but it's in the chat. Other than that, I have free PDFs and stuff you could download on my website. Check that out. If you're interested in the numerology that we talked a lot about today, there is a numerology course. I think it's like 140 pages on there. Put a lot of hard work, effort in that. Lots of video content, information, secrets of shamanic numerology is all in there. This is protection, ladies and gentlemen. This is prophecy. This is literal permission. Okay? The beetle was here to weave in and say, look, it is safe to release. It is safe to speak out loud a truth, even if it goes against everyone else in your bracket. If it flies away, this is also confirmation. You are allowed to speak without submitting. No matter if you feel that passive aggressive energy. Because that's how it comes. It comes passive aggressively. Very few people are willing to speak to your face and say the truth up front. I know it doesn't happen in my life as an Aries. I wish people would speak to me face to face, honestly, raw. But an older version of me would say there's too many punks in the world. This version of me says, whatever floats your boat. So that beetle medicine is carrying the medicine, in many layers. That's it. That's the transmission. Thank you for being here. Thank you for hitting the thumbs up. Share this video if you feel like somebody really resonates and needs this. I'll do the best to make some timestamps so you can see earlier stuff if you came at the later end. This is your Ayurveda Shaman, Pernell Bobby. Actually, hit the thumbs up and likes button, subscribe. Join our membership at best, at minimum. If you really are looking for this literal, sacred, spiritual community, you do the breath work and stuff like that. It's here because I know the day will come where people will see through all of these fake spiritual communities and they're going to look for something real. And that's where I learned that my mission is very, very important to maintain this, to keep it up, to continue to offer. And we're moving into a lot more of how to actually practice psychic abilities, how to practice foresight, future telling, how to practice past life regurgitation and manipulation for a positive outcome, how to practice lucid alterations, okay? How to practice radiance manipulation. These different psychic abilities that we've actually identified out. I think this is going to be really the next course. So I love you. I thank you for being here. Share this transmission. Hit the thumbs up. Share this transmission. And do consider joining this 5-week this Saturday. Or if that's too much for you, for whatever reason, check out our membership. All right. It's $33 a month. And that's going to be something where you'll be able to commune with people from many, many different countries, which brings me so much joy. Where we do the spiritual accountability. We do the breath. Things you've never done before, and that's a promise. We do the interlay Reiki. We do the healing. We do the throat clearings. We do the music, okay? And I share this with you to end the transmission, and I hope that this goes through because lately Zoom has been playing games with me on my instruments and allowing my instruments to come through. So if you know how to get my instrument to come through on Zoom calls, please let me know in the chat.